Welcome to the Southern Institute of Technology's National Diploma in Business, Levels 5 and 6. Today I'll be joined by 4 guests from different business ventures to discuss the pros and cons. And firstly, we have Amanda Watt from Innovative Business Solutions. How are you today, Amanda?
Good, thank you.
What exactly is IBS?
IBS is the consultancy unit at SIT. It was set up about 13 years ago in response to a growing demand in businesses and organisations in Southland choosing to outsource various professional services. In particular, they are business consultancy, just general business consultancy, customised and tailored training, and research and survey projects.
So you're saying they like to outsource. What exactly do they outsource?
They outsource those projects, so they get there, rather than trying to do those projects in-house, they come to us and we have the experts that can do the projects, so we can identify exactly what training they need, if it's training that they're after, or we can develop and design the survey questionnaires and write up the survey reports for them. So rather than them taking up their time and then not the experts at it, then we do that.
So any business can come to you for that?
Yes, definitely. We deal with a variety of businesses, from very small businesses right up to government organisations, large government organisations. So yeah, we service quite a range.
And can you give me a few examples of the sort of services you provide to them? You're saying like there's this doing surveys and things. Yep. What else is there?
Well, the surveys, to be a bit more specific about those, are satisfaction surveys, awareness surveys, market research. So for new companies that are starting up, or a company that's developing a marketing plan, we can undertake the market research for them, so then they can then put the necessary steps in place they need to in order to develop a good marketing or business plan. The customised and tailored training, there's such a wide range of things that we can do, because we've got a great pool of experts that cover a range of topics, but just to name a few, the Microsoft Office computer training will tailor a package specifically to the client's needs. Oh, cool. Communications training, time management, organisational sort of aspects, yeah.
Great. So how big is IBS then?
It's as big as we want it to be, really. I manage it, and we have some administration assistants as well, and then we contract in all the expertise to undertake the specific tasks.
And are they all from SIT as well?
Some are SIT tutors, and other staff at SIT, so where they've got the expertise and the time available, we can use them. And I also have a good database of people that don't work at SIT that I can use as well.
Great. So your role, you must be doing a lot of liaising with people from all over the place?
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. We've got a contract, for example, at the moment with the Housing New Zealand Corporation, which is based in Wellington, and we have got the contract to deliver the home ownership education program down here in the Southland region. So that runs out in June next year, and we re-tender and hopefully get it again. So yeah, deal with quite a lot of people and have to liaise with a lot of people, yeah.
I bet. And in the 13 years that it's been set up, has it grown a lot?
Yes, it has, but we also work under the environment of SIT. It's quite political. We have to adjust to changes, government changes and funding and things like that. So it has probably fluctuated, the growth has fluctuated over the last few years, but I am doing that postgraduate diploma in business enterprise, and the reason I'm doing that is to develop a good strong business plan for the unit to ensure some growth in the next few years.
Right.
Yeah.
And how are you planning on getting it to grow?
Well, I start my research for the postgraduate shortly, but I'm going to interview some key clients, just keep up to date with what's happening just out there by reading newspapers, magazines and that sort of thing, and also interview some other like units in New Zealand to see what they're doing, and hopefully I can develop a really good plan using what the clients want and also adjusting to what's needed out there and what's currently happening, what the current trends are and things like that. Yeah.
So it must be very important to make sure you're delivering what the client wants. How do you monitor that?
We have evaluations that we get the client to complete at the end of a training session, for example, just to make sure that we've met their needs and that they've been happy with the facilities that we've offered if we've had the training at SIT, or the facilitators' knowledge and things like that. So we do try to keep tabs and make sure that we are offering the best possible service and also hitting it on the nail on what they want here.
Yeah, it's great. Is there many similar sort of services around?
Yeah, there's, I mean, our competitors are the likes of your accountants that offer business services for their clients. There's a few just individually owned companies that started up as well, like the Business Garage and Creative Solutions, which are based in Southland, that offer the same sort of services to clients. But up until now, we've been totally word of mouth. So
that's great.
A lot of inquiries come into SIT and then they just get forwarded to Innovative Business Solutions, and that's really pretty much how we get our work at the moment. But I hope to have a more proactive approach once I've got the business plan developed. Yeah.
Have you found the incubator scheme has helped?
Absolutely, yeah, just in developing the systems and giving me the motivation to put a business plan in place, and also think about how I can market IBS and where I can take it, and it's given me some great ideas. Absolutely.
I bet.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that, Amanda.
Thanks.
We'll look out for you.
Yeah,
Thank
excellent.
You. Now I'm joined by Louise West, who is a small business venture in exercise and wellbeing. How are you today, Louise?
Fabulous, thank you. How are you?
Great, very good. Tell me about your academic background.
I've been at SIT for 5 years, well this is my 5th year. I've completed a Diploma in Sport and Recreation and a Bachelor in Sport and Recreation through the School of Exercise at SIT, and I'm currently completing the Postgraduate Diploma in Business Enterprise. I'm halfway through.
All right. It's a lot of study for one person.
Oh well, you know, once you start it kind of snowballs.
Because it'd be a big business, setting up a small business. Must be a lot to sort of think about. What made you decide to go down that path?
I just think you get to a point in your life where you really need to start kind of fending for yourself. I'm kind of really, you know, the luster of going to heaps of interviews and stuff like that really kind of makes me nervous, I suppose, if you know what I mean. And I really just want to do something for myself. I also found that, you know, in the work that I've done working in the health and fitness industry so far, there's definitely a market out there for the certain type of person that I want to target. And it's a service that's not really provided unless it's through things like Spark or Green Prescription or things like that that are government organisations. You know.
Right. So who do you want to target?
I want to target people that desire to exercise, desire to become more physically active, but they just don't have the motivation to start, or if they do start, they really don't know what they're doing or how to progress to a point where they get maximum benefit out of it. People that they exercise for the social benefits. They're not necessarily interested in fitness training as such, you know, becoming an Olympic athlete kind of thing. Yeah, so people that are generally haven't really started exercising but know that they really want to start, and people that maybe already exercise but with no structure or purpose, or, you know, kind of things like that, people like that.
So that's why you went into the business side?
Well, I went into the business side to try and provide a better life for my daughter and myself and try and have a bit more control in my career. But I wanted to provide that particular service because I feel that there's a need for it. You know, you turn on your telly every day and they tell you that there's an obesity epidemic in New Zealand, and that's cool, and there's so many places out there that are providing you know, this initiative and this initiative, and go to the gym and do this and do that, but nobody that'll actually go with you and make sure that you're okay, you're working at the right level until you actually learn what it is you're supposed to be doing. You know, it's one thing to educate people, it's another thing to just tell them what to do and say, there you go.
Yes.
You know, and I want to give people the tools so that they can actually take self-responsibility for the exercise and feel confident that they can actually go on and carry this thing on themselves.
True. So there's a lot of aspects that go into running a small business, and I guess there's got to be more than just the wanting to do it.
Oh yeah.
So what did you cover when you were studying your business? Okay,
so the business incubator is actually broken up into 2 lots. The first lot you do 6 level 8 postgraduate papers in areas such as marketing, finance, business management, human resource management, communications, you know, areas like that, innovation and entrepreneurship.
Right.
Now, the second half of it is actually, you get a year of self-directed learning where you have to do a research project as part of your dissertation. Now, at the end of it, you come out with a research project that can back up your business plan. So your actual end product is a business plan.
Right.
So you come out with a professional business plan you can take to the bank and say, here you go, buddy. Or, you know, whoever you happen. Yeah. Well, because otherwise you're sitting at home on your own. It's a tough road on your own, you know. Whereas in the incubator, you've got all these people that can actually help you along the way. Probably marketing was the hardest paper I actually found, and it was learning where to get this information, because that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Where do you look for information on the industry? Where do you get it? Because unless you've got money to buy that kind of software, it's difficult. How do you go about finding out what people want and how much they'll pay for it, and etc.
So how do you market yourself? How do people know about you or to go to you?
Well, at the moment I'm not. Actually set up as a business, because I'm just going into that phase now. But shortly. Actually, you know, one of the guys in the incubator, his name's Brandon Terakia, and he's a very accomplished web designer and that, and he's doing logos and stuff like that for us. So I've just got my logo done.
Oh,
I can be contacted by phone 218-1671, or you can email me, louise.west@student.sit.ac.nz.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I'll look out for your business card when you get one.
Thank you. I'm probably looking at starting my business up north, but you know, hopefully, you just never know. You might franchise around the country. It was fantastic.
Well, good luck. Thanks for your time,
Thank you very
Louise.
much. It's wonderful.
My next guest is James Jubb, Managing Director of Envious Photography. How are you today, James?
Good, thank you.
You're a bit of a SIT success story. Can you give me a bit of a background on yourself?
Well, I first came to Invercargill about 4 years ago. I completed the Diploma in Professional Photography here at SIT. And then at the completion of that course, I sort of sat there and thought, well, what am I going to do? You know, I have this passion for photography. What's the next step? And it's then when I heard about the postgraduate Diploma in Business Enterprise, which leads into the business incubator. And I thought, well, I can use the skills I have as a photographer and then adapt those skills, the business skills that I can learn through the incubator, to really develop my business. And so that's sort of where I have just completed the incubator, and I'm now a tutor here at SIT, tutoring photography, which is fantastic. So again, it's, you know, those different avenues I can sort of release my photography passion and help other people out as well.
Gee, that's pretty good going, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Yeah, it's great.
So you're a photography tutor here at SIT, and you've also got your own small business on the side?
Yes, yeah. My business is my main sort of full-time income, and then I am a part-time tutor here, so I tutor 3 classes at the moment.
Great.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in business for?
I've been in business full-time since December, and I've worked as a photographer since October of 2000. in sort of varying forms and working for different people, yeah.
And what made you decide that you wanted to go down that road and set up your own business?
I guess I had this passion for photography, and in Invercargill there wasn't really sort of an avenue for me to go and work for someone else. I would have had to move to Wellington or Christchurch or Auckland, to some of the bigger centres, to start as an assistant for a bigger studio. And in Invercargill there wasn't really that option. There's a number of good photographers, but they're sort of one-man operators. So I guess at that point I decided that I was probably best to go out on my own, and it was at that point that I decided, well, I don't have the business skills. It's all very good and well being able to take a great photo, but unless you can sell yourself or sell what you're trying to do, then you're not going to make any money. So it was having the business skills that I learnt through the incubator that really helped me to become, and sort of progressed me to where I am today.
So how many sort of business papers did you do?
I think there's 6 papers involved in the postgraduate program. You do marketing, finance, small business management, and sort of those few different areas that you really sort of focus on. And then you progress into the incubator, which you have to do a research dissertation. So you produce this question of what you want to research, and then at the end of it you produce this wonderfully big document, which is great when it's all over, but you learn a lot as you go, and you learn a lot about your own business. It sort of forces you to actually take that time away and focus on your business, rather than if you were just in there as a business trading full time. You wouldn't really have that time. You'd be too busy trying to chase your tail around, whereas having the incubator was there as well as trading. I had that support, the mentors and the supervisors who, if I had a question, I could just sort of ring them up and go, hey, can you help me with this, or I need to do a quote, what do I do? Because when you're doing it for the first time, trying to write a quote or trying to write an invoice, or it's those simple little things that people kind of take for granted, but how do you do it? Where do you kind of come up with those ideas for the first time? Once you've got it the first time, it's all right, you can kind of progress from there, but it's getting that first time and getting those ideas to start it that's the hard thing.
So you could go to these people to talk to about those sort of things? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, that's the best part about the incubator, is that there's that support there. There's the supervisors, there's the tutors, the teachers that are involved in it, and also there's sort of the outside mentors. You are sort of placed with a mentor in a small business or large business owner within Invercargill who can, you can sort of bounce ideas off and ask.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So with all this knowledge, can you see your business growing?
Yeah, it already has. If you look at it from the start of the, I was part-time at the start of the incubator course, which was January last year, and since then it's just progressed and grown, and now I'm full-time and looking to, employ a number of other people.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So at the moment, is it just you?
Yep, just myself. I've got another person who sort of comes and helps me out every now and then, just when I get really busy, as well as my wife. She helps me out as well.
Oh, cool. And what tips would you have for anyone else who's looking at doing something similar to what you've done, setting up a small business?
One of the best things I would suggest is doing some kind of a course, whether it's through the incubator or whether some of the other programs. I mean, I know SIT offers a whole host of different business programs, and it's good because, as I said, it gives you that grounding, and it gives you, it kind of forces you to do it, whereas if you were in the real world doing it yourself, you might not, you just kind of, oh look, I'll leave that, and then all of a sudden 2 years down the track you're like, hang on a minute, I haven't paid any taxes, and you've got this whomping big tax bill. So it's just kind of the little things like that can really snowball, and if you understand them to start off with, then it gives you that better grounding, that better base to work from. Yeah.
That's great. And one other thing, how do you sort of know what the customer wants and that you're meeting that?
We have like a consultation beforehand, whether it's with a wedding or a commercial client or some other area. You kind of meet with the person and find out what they want. So it's all very good and well, for a wedding, for instance, me delivering what I like, but at the end of the day, it's their special day, so they're the ones that have to kind of, tell me what they want. So with the weddings in particular, I get them to, rip photos out of magazines, ones that they really like, and get them to put them in like a little visual diary, and so when they come and meet me before the wedding, they can say, well, look, this is the photos I like. So I can then adapt my style to them, because as at the end of the day, it's their special day, and if they are getting the photos that they like, whether it's black and white or using some of these digital manipulation, then they're happy at the end of it. It's the same with commercial clients. They have an idea, they have a look of what they want, and I'm there to deliver that look, as well as giving my perspective and my interpretation of it as well.
Gee.
Yeah. But I mean, it's important to liaise with the client. I mean, because they're, you know, at the end of the day, they're the one paying the bills. So you've got to deliver what they want and to the level that they want, as well as, you know, the level that I want to let out, you know, out of my doors. Because if it's not up to the quality that I think, then it's got to be the highest quality. Yeah, that's what I pride myself on.
So I guess PR is very important too, like making sure you're communicating with your customer well. Yeah,
definitely. PR and also, you know, your marketing and how you deal, your customer skills, how you deal with the customer is, you know, paramount. You've got to be pretty onto it and pretty good with the customers.
Get them coming back.
Exactly, yeah. And then if you do a great job with that person, then with the referrals, you know, they talk to someone else, and that's how you get your business.
Yeah. But that's a pretty good way of doing it, though, isn't it? Getting people to come back to you because you've done a good job.
Oh, it is, and it's good for me as a business owner to have, you know, people saying, oh look, I saw such and such's wedding, or I saw you know, your photos in the SBS, you know, advert, or I saw your photos here and I thought they're really good, you know, can you do this for me? And it's quite, you know, it makes you feel really good that you are delivering a quality, you know, product and people enjoy and really like what you do, and so it makes you.
It's very rewarding.
It is, yeah, it is.
That's great. Thank you. We'll look out for your pictures. Thanks for your time.
Thanks.
My final guest today is Aileen Fenlator from Narnia Media. How are you today?
All right, and yourself?
Pretty good. Just a wee background on you.
I came down here to study in 2000 and I was doing journalism. Ended up crossing over to multimedia. During multimedia I found that I quite liked directing, so also did performing arts because I was told by one of our tutors that one of the best ways to be a good director is to know what the actors are going through. So did performing arts, and then whilst I was doing that I came across the incubator, so did that as well.
That's great. So you're going to set up your own small business now?
Yeah, we're going part-time at the moment until we get funding, because obviously setting up a film company is going to be huge.
Gee, yes.
But once we get started, we'll be doing like weddings and stuff like that to bring in income, and then films as well. So
great. So you say we, is there, who are you in business
my
with?
Husband, yeah.
Oh great, so you're both in it?
Yes, yeah, he's the technical side, so he does camera and editing and that sort of stuff, and I do directing, writing if he lets me. So yeah.
Gee, and what made you decide that's what you wanted to do?
When I was doing the multimedia course, we got to do a variety of jobs. So I found that I quite liked directing and producing as well. So yeah.
Great. And what have you found really challenging so far, going in, starting up the small business? Funding's
probably a huge one. That probably affects most small businesses, but I find, especially with film, when I was doing my dissertation, we wanted to do a trip around the country interviewing other small film companies, and found that it's taken probably about 1.5 years now and we haven't got full funding yet. We've done part funding, and we're just waiting on another application to go through, so hopefully at the end of October we'll get that finished.
Cool. And where did that part funding come from?
SIT actually.
Oh really?
Yeah. So they sponsored us to do, we did the South Island, got to speak to 10 people involved in the film industry in New Zealand. They were all really interesting and just a wealth of information, so it was quite good. I think that's one thing about the incubator that was really good actually, because it gives you time to work on the business rather than in the business. So you get time to really concentrate on what you're doing and plan, which is really important. So.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So where can you see your business going, say in even 5 years' time?
In 5 years we hope to be working on our first feature, and hopefully we want to bring in some people from the community to help us do the weddings and funerals, surprisingly, birthdays and events like that. So hopefully we'll be employing people in 5 years.
Gee, great.
Yeah.
So at the moment it's just the two of you?
Yeah, well, we've got a volunteer that helps us out. He's also got a camera, which is handy. And he just comes along and helps us out, gives us ideas, stuff like that. So
great. With your line of business, you must really have to stay up the play with technology and things.
Yeah.
It must cost a bit too.
Yeah, it does. We're looking at getting HD cameras. I'm not sure if you know what that is. It's like high definition digital cameras. And we're sort of at the lower end of the professional cameras. And they're looking around about 10,000. So we're hoping that by the time that we get all our capital to really get into it, that will come down in price, because we need 4 cameras, so yeah, plus your lighting kit and all that, so it comes around at about 50 grand.
Gee.
Yeah.
So it can be quite risky. You must have really felt though that you're passionate about it and still wanted to get into business.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you've got to be passionate to be in small business, especially in the first couple of years. You're going to take a loss unless you've got some multi-million-dollar product, but I think you've got to be prepared to put in that hard work. I mean, it's a huge amount of work, especially just the planning stage, just doing your business plan, just getting everything that you need just to get started.
Yes.
That's where it really counts, so yeah.
Oh, gee. And how do people find out about you? How do you market your services?
At the moment, we're not marketing, so it's largely word of mouth, because we haven't got all the cameras and all the gear to start really going out there and doing the weddings and stuff like that. So we're just doing films at the moment. But when we do get into business, we'll be putting ads in like the trade magazines like Bride and Groom, the local Southern Times and Express, and we'll have a website. So
great.
Yeah.
What sort of films are you doing?
We're doing a short film at the moment.
Oh, really?
So yeah, just entering it in competition. So yes, we've already made one short film, which is pretty tragic when you look back at it. But yeah, we entered that in Cannes, so
oh, great.
Yeah, got a nice little French letter saying we reject you, but it was still good. It was, you know, they've still got that
experience, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And the thing is that our film is in their archive now.
Yes.
So one day they're going to drag it up when we're rich and famous and say, this was them when they started, this is how tragic they really were. But yeah, and we've also done an advertisement for, I think it's the Australian Photography Association or something like that anyway. They were doing a drive to get people to print their pictures rather than just keep them on their computers. And so we did a 90-second ad for that and got in the finals they ran a competition for it. So that was quite good. We were quite proud of that one. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, it's been lovely having you here today. Thank you, nice to meet you and good luck.
Thanks very much.
Next week we'll be talking to some larger local businesses. But until then, if you'd like more information on the National Diploma in Business, Levels 5 and 6, you can contact the team at SIT on 0800 SIT to Learn. We'll see you next week.